You are on your way to be a multimillionaire, possibly a billionaire. But on this journey, you got to learn these three critical business lessons first. What did we just learn from watching the Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul fight from a business and an economic perspective? So we're going to go directly into it. But before we do, I'm your hustler homie, your platform partner, Jackson, all about helping you take action. And this is Hustle Headquarters 360. First, let's go back before we go forward. Money made all day. Money Mayweather is a brand. It's a character. It is a marketing item, right? No different from whatever product and service that you have. But before he became Money May, he was what you call Pretty Boy Floyd. I want you to understand this. The difference between Pretty Boy Floyd and Money May is like the difference between where your business is today and where it needs to go tomorrow. The difference is, see, Pretty Boy Floyd, he had skills. See, he was talented. He was undefeated. In fact, his father, also, Floyd Mayweather Sr. was also undefeated. Well, not undefeated, but he had skills. Here's the thing, but he didn't have money to be able to pay all of the bills. All he had was a bunch of skills. So the thing is, what Money May understood was, I gotta change my marketing. Because Pretty Boy Floyd, who he was initially, he didn't have good branding, right? Because he couldn't control it. He was under a different management company. As soon as he was able to control his management, he changed his marketing and his promotions, and that's when everything changed. So we're going to talk so much of the business lessons here. A lot of them are going to be about relationships, going to be about marketing, storytelling, etc. But let's get directly into this. And before we talk about this specific fight, I want to address a group of people first. And that is, there were some people that were upset. And they said, I'm a boxing purist and I want to see skill versus skill. And I want to see the best fights to see who's the most talented person. But check this out. For the people who said they wanted to see skill versus skill and the most talented person, notice this. On the undercard with this fight, there were some very talented fights. This was not, Floyd and Logan did not have the best fight of the night. But no one else is talking about those other fights that were actually better fights. You don't hear no one talking about the Bodak Jack fault. Then there was another fight that was with Chad Ochocinco. Then there was another fight with another Mexican guy who hit old boy with 250 face shots, like power blows to the face. But nobody's talking about that. Why? Because people don't care about skill the way they claim they do, which is one of the first lessons I want you to learn. You see, People claim that they want something, but they really don't know. Your customers don't know totally what they want until you give it to them. All of those folks that said they wanted to see Floyd versus Pacquiao, I'd rather see Floyd and Pacquiao. Those same people said the fight was boring. The same people said they're not even talking about the skillful fighters on the undercard. So you got to understand that it's not about what people say that they want all the time. Okay, please believe that and understand that. Now that you understand that, if it's not about skill, what is it about? Well, you do need skill, but also what Floyd will show you, and we're about to go deeper into it, is it's about knowing how to have emotional storytelling and your marketing. How can you promote something and get people to have an emotional reaction, to get them to either love it or to get them to hate it? And see, once you do that and you get to build your platform, see, now your customers, you pretty much got an automatic money machine, baby. So first, before we go into that, I want to shout out all of the other performances. Look at this. If we look at Floyd right here. So now we just saw Floyd. He had marketing all over him. He just had marketing. He had, hold on 1 second. All right. So if we just look at that shot, Floyd, we just saw a scene where he had an OnlyFans hat. He also had Moneybagg Yo standing next to him. So he put himself next to one of the #1 hip hop artists. So he's tapping into the streets. Plus Moneybagg got a check. This is a part of the brand. Two, you see he got the OnlyFans hat, right? He's capitalized. This was a whole nother check. He's promoting that page, which monthly, we don't know. He could be getting $20 a month, or he probably just got a straight up and down check. I don't know what this is, BET Online. And then on his shorts, he had Ethereum, like .us on his boxer trunk. So he got a major check, and he probably has a bunch of Ethereum as well. And y'all know we talk about cryptocurrency every day on this channel. So this was a major thing. He created this platform. So the marketing is here every day. But this is why you need to also understand that you're a walking billboard. Okay, you're a walking billboard. You need to always be promoting your marketing, your brand, and be very cognizant of when you wear other people's brands and how that's going to affect your brand. All right. So also I want to mention Logan Paul. Stephen A. Smith made a statement. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me talk about this real quick first. If we look at, this was the big thing that made me look at this fight and recognize Floyd has a new business model. You see, there was a moment in this fight where Floyd looks like he knocks out Logan Paul. Looks like he hits him and he holds him and he doesn't allow him to fall. Now, we don't know if he was totally knocked out or not, but here's my theory. Here's what I believe. Floyd realizes if he would have knocked this boy out, same way he could have knocked out McGregor, same way he could have knocked out a lot of these other cats, and I believe it would have made Floyd take a loss, meaning he can't make as much money if he knocks these guys out. So, because it's not about talent and skill. What he's doing is he's selling a dream. He's playing on people's emotions. He's saying, hey, average person, you're a YouTuber, anybody that can get popular and have enough followers and fans, if you can get enough, there's an opportunity for you to take a shot at the champ. Okay. And if he was knocking these guys out easily, then the average guy wouldn't feel like they had a shot to even challenge Floyd. But because he's allowing these guys to go to the distance, he's carrying the fights, it creates this illusion. So that way, the next time he has a fight, people think they actually have a shot. This is all a part of a business model, in my opinion. He wants people to feel like they have. And you think about it, Floyd has been doing this for the longest with all of his fights. He had many people that he fought that the public didn't know who the boxer was, but Floyd carried the fight. So we got to understand that this is a strategic business model. So you got to think about in your business too, what is your business model really made of, right? Because it may not be the thing that it seems like on a surface, right? What people think you sell, you might be selling something totally different. And most big businesses do that. McDonald's, their business is not it's not burgers and fries. It's really real estate. So you got to understand business models and how they work. Okay. All right. So that's the second thing. I want to talk about this too. Logan Paul. You had people on ESPN. I can probably play the clip. I don't know if I want to play it. Stephen A. Smith was interviewing Logan Paul, and he said something about, Logan, you don't really deserve to be here. A lot of other boxers say you don't deserve to be here.
Look, he's one of the best boxers of our generation. When I was presented with the opportunity to fight him as a showman, as an entertainer, as someone who's risen up to challenges his whole life, this was too exciting to turn down.
I can't knock you for not turning it down. That would be foolish. I mean, to be able to get in the ring and to make this money all at the same time, there's nothing wrong with that. I would ask, however, what level of sensitivity do you have to folks in the boxing profession that look at guys like yourself and your brother and say, you really may not deserve this opportunity? What do you say to that?
I'm actually fairly sensitive.
All right, so let's talk about that for a minute. So that's a good question. People think he may not deserve to be there. Now, the reality is, in the world that we live in now, who determines what you deserve and what you don't deserve? Let's be very clear. Logan Paul is an example. We're talking business here. That's what this video was about. It's about business and marketing. Logan Paul has been making videos since he was 14. So he put in a tremendous amount of work. He just took a different route to get to his bag. So your route for you to get where you're going, it may not be the traditional route. It may not be traditional schooling. It may not be traditional forms of marketing. You may have to create your platform first. The power of the platform is very important. And that's what he did. It's his platform which got him here. It was not his skills. And the prime example, like I talked about earlier, there were guys on the undercard that had better fights, that were better skillful, but nobody's talking about them because it's not as emotionally interesting. It did not engage in people. Plus, let's look at this. There's a white fighter versus a black fighter. There's racial tension that's there. Floyd, like so many other boxers, capitalized on that racial tension. There's a movie called The Great White Hype with Damian Wayans. Real funny movie that shows the whole thing on how there was a black boxer that was so successful, and they created this, so many white people wanted to see a white boxer knock the guy out. And Floyd plays on this. He's been doing it with all of the Mexican fighters. He's doing it now. So don't let people pressure you into what you need to be doing. Like, you got to do what's best for yourself. Okay. So Floyd, I think he was very strategic like that. And also not only that, here's my other point too. You gotta understand this. In business, it's about you got to create drama. You got to create conflict. When you're marketing your product, most people don't really care about your product. Please understand that. Please believe that. Because there's new products that come out every single day. Most people don't need your product. So the key is, how do you get people emotionally connected? They have to, this is through your storytelling, through your marketing. So when you market, don't just post the product online. You got to have some type of story behind it that's going to trigger people. Okay. So that's another jewel that you need to use that trigger people's emotions. What's a conversation they're already having, and get them emotionally to tap into that conversation, but then put your product right in the middle. People will pay for it every time, over and over again. But for this here, in terms of a business model, this fight, we got to understand this is nothing new. The Muhammad Ali had exhibitions fights. Sugar Ray Leonard had exhibitions fights. Hell, Vince McMahon and the WWE, World Wrestling Federation, they use this formula all the time, where they would bring on celebrities. One of those celebrities was Floyd Mayweather, who came and he fought the Big Show. Okay, people weren't coming to see who really will win or lose, because most people knew that it wasn't totally real. You came for the show. You came for the energy and the entertainment. You liked The Rock because he was the most electrifying person. You like Stone Cold because of his attitude. You like that. So you got to know how to use some type of personality and energy in your brand to trigger people. Now, here's the third thing I want you to understand. This is the final thing we're going to talk about. In this video, in order for Floyd to get, look, we know what's funny about this too. If you look at Floyd Mayweather's team, if you look on the side, Floyd didn't even have his normal team with him. That's how much he didn't really take the fight that serious, right? There was no winner in the fight. They had it in the contract. You can remember, you got to have good contracts with whatever you do, that they were going to announce no winner, because this is the perfect setup for Logan Paul to continue his career, because this will not count as a loss on his record, because really they both won. Floyd did at least 100 million. Logan most likely did at least about 10 million on the fight. So they're both winners right now, and they can continue to go on to the next fight or whatever the next endeavor that they want to go into. But look at Floyd's team here. If you look at his corner, Floyd didn't even have his normal corner men on the team. You know, he didn't have none of, he didn't see Roger Mayweather, not Roger, but you didn't see his father, Floyd Sr. One of his kids was missing, wasn't there. So this was not a regular fight. Really, this was a bank robbery. He came, got his money, had fun. It's like they went to the show. You know, he went to the gym with this, had some good fun here. So last thing I want to say, my last point, is your team. Al Heyman is a big part of how Floyd got here. Al Heyman is the guy behind the scenes that does a lot of the marketing and a lot of the business structure. So we don't see Al Heyman. Just like in your business, there will be somebody, many times you got to have partners. You got to strategically align yourself with people that may be behind the scenes, that is going to really help you with leveraging your marketing or whatever your plan is. You can't do everything by yourself. So you got to mastermind, collaborate with other people that you can trust, have good contracts with these folks, and don't worry about who's getting credit. Meaning, don't worry about who's on the camera and who's not, because that don't matter, right? You never see Al Heyman's face, but he's one of the richest man in entertainment, period. All right. Amazing marketing, amazing promoter. So there's so much that you can learn here in this fight. And also, if you listen to Floyd when he even talks here,
every time he punch, he'd clinch. He was the bigger guy, and a little awkward. His background is wrestling, if I'm not mistaken, so he was good at tying me up. So a guy that came in over 200 and some pounds, I came in at 155, but no excuses. I had fun tonight, and I go out there and put on the show.
So one thing, if we look at Floyd, he's selling the fight so much. Like, he kept saying things like, yeah, I'm a grandfather now. I'm 43. All of this is really what he is. To me, it's a part of the marketing to say, hey, we're going to continue this new business model where the average guy has a shot to beat me. The reality is, even at 43, 44, 45, Floyd still has the skills to knock these guys out. Listen, the ability to knock folks out and boxing skill does not leave very much when you get up in age, especially when you still stay in shape like Floyd does. So don't for a minute believe that a person like Logan, because he went 8 rounds, or because Conor McGregor went 10 rounds, that these guys are really as good as they seem. Floyd carried them because it's a part of the business model to give people the illusion that you have a shot. It adds to the drama. If he just came out, knocked guys out first, second round, it's not as good for the business model. Okay, you can agree or disagree. I'm open to that. These are just my observations, but I want to know, what did you learn from watching the fight? What was the marketing that you learned? I mean, again, here, this is an amazing payday. And here's the last thing I had to mention too. There was a lot of people that paid $50 for this fight. And when people were paying the $50 for the fight, they went on Showtime and the fight crashed, the site crashed. So a lot of people weren't able to watch it. So this goes to show that sometimes in business, things will not go your way. The things that you plan out will not always work the way that you want it. And that's fine. You just got